Hello, my name is Taeyoung Kim, and I'm glad to give our research presentations today. Before moving on to our presentation, I'm gonna introduce briefly our co-researchers. My name is Taeyoung Kim, and I'm working for the Dignitas Institute for Liberal Education at Dongi University. The second author is Yongha Kim, an associate professor, Division of Literature, Dongi University, and Kyung-Yae Hyun, associate professor, Department Clinical Laboratory Science at DU, and the corresponding author, Hae-Gyung Yoon, professor, Division of Basic Science at the same university. The human brain is known to function the following. The human brain acts as an information processing organ for learning, memory, thinking, and problem solving, as an integrated regulatory center regulating all behaviors. In infancy, many neurons are pruned and the thickness of myelin increases, so the speed of information transfer between neurons is improved through external stimuli or especially learning. Through learning, the speed of information transfer between nerve cells is improved, and the brain flexibly uses the left and right brains evenly. The way of being from the outside varies from person to person depending on the intensity and type of external stimulus. The field of brain science research is rapidly developing, and various researchers based on brain research are being conducted in the fields of education and or art. Next, humanity. The key word among the subject of this study is the humanity. The brain-based learning promotes brain function and grafts it into learning or education, and efforts are being made to improve education based on brain-related knowledge by connecting the brain and education. The humanities also contributes to the formation of personality and smooth the interpersonal relationships by acting on brain physiology. EEG, electroencephalogram, was also used as a tool in this study. Tracking the location of excitatory neuron according to the human cognitive process is the most important research field in brain research in relation to the localization of brain functions. The international standard of EEG measurement applies the international 10-20 method using 21 electrode in international EEG. In EEG, we study the appearance rate and the proportion of each waveform by checking the expression rates of alpha, beta, delta, theta waves in the parietal, frontal, temporal, and occipital lobes through the EEG electrode for signal sounds generated in the cerebral scalp. In other words, many studies are being conducted to understand the characteristics of electrical signal sounds generated in the cerebral scalp. Therefore, this is the purpose of this study is the importance of education has recently been emphasized, and in particular, EEG activity was analyzed after taking a humanities course for 15 weeks. Due to the nature of the educational method, it is divided into science and engineering and liberal arts. In case of student entering science, there is little learning in the humanities or liberal arts. In particular, we hypothesize that there will be difference in the way the brain is used to the continuous humanities. Lectures for 3 months. EEG analysis and EEG reactivity were analyzed, and activity of EEG reactivity in the humanities course was analyzed by comparing the electrical signal wave of the left and right brain. Next, the research subject. We recruited a total of 67 subjects in their 20s who were all healthy. They are college students at the university in B region, and they volunteered as a research candidate. The humanities course was conducted with 36 participants, and 31 of them did not take the humanities course. The participants in this study were college students from the science, engineering fields, and through the basic questionnaire, healthy people who did not experience relaxation from cardiovascular, metabolic, musculoskeletal, respiratory, or neurological disease were targeted. This is our experimental schedule. As a 15-week course, the participant took a course called Understanding Beauty. The title of the course was Understanding Beauty. Twice a week for 2 hours at the same time. The course Understanding of Beauty, that is the university humanities education course, or liberal arts education course, with the purpose of upgrading the power of imagination to overcome the fact-centered world and improving one's problem discovery and problem-solving abilities. The figure 1 shows the equipment used in this study. It has the characteristic of being able to attach and detach naturally. It can be used conveniently without using the traditional electrode pull. The second figure shows the distribution of electrode on the cerebral scalp according to the 10-20 system. 10-20 number according to the international EEG standard. It was measured by activating the electrode in the area colored in red in this figure. Then we'll explain the characteristics of the cerebral scalp used in this study. The position of The CZ electrode is the first reference point to find when attaching the electrode, and the position is measured with tape measured in a straight line from the root of the nose to the point of the back of the head. Measure the distance from the front of the left auricle to the front of the right auricle. Front, back, and right, left were selected as the midpoint of the intersection of each 0.5 points of the measured distance. The F3, F4 electrode position are at the intersection of the midpoint between F7 and FZ and midpoint between FP1 and C3. F4 is selected as the point where the midpoint between F8 and FG and the midpoint between FP2 and C4 intersects with the same principle. The position of P3 and P4 electrode is the point where the midpoint between P7 and PZ and the midpoint between O1 and C3. The location of P4 electrode was selected at the intersection of the midpoint between P8 and PZ and the midpoint between O2 and C4. T3 and T4 electrode positions correspond to the auditory center. The boundary between the temporal and parietal regions correspond to the Wernicke sensory language centers. In this area, it is difficult to obtain the alpha rhythm in a stable state in any case, and a lot of fast wave components of low potential appear. We'll explain the method. The resistance of the electrode on the cerebral scope was adjusted to the minimum measured. 7 electrode CZ, F3, F4, P3, P4, T3, T4 were attached to the scalp with the central pole, frontal lobe, parietal lobe, and temporal lobe of the cerebral scalp as the center. 2 reference electrodes were attached to both earlobes. A small amount of electrode paste was applied to the electrode, and then electrode was attached. The measurement is performed by having the subject close their eyes in a dark and quiet environment to remove noise caused by surroundings. After sitting in a comfortable position, measurement was started when the EEG waveform stabilized. EEG was measured for 10 minutes. Alpha wave, theta wave, and beta wave were analyzed. Statistical processing comes next. In this study, data obtained for each electrode attachment location, 7 locations over 4 repeated measurements were analyzed. A multivariate approach was adopted under the assumption that the data according to the location of each electrode attachments at 7 locations were correlated. So we did not use the univariate approach, but the multivariate approach, because due to the nature of the data we collected. Since repeated measurements were made, statistical analysis was performed using RM MANOVA. RM MANOVA means repeated measures, multivariate analysis of variance. This is RM because we had 4 repeated measures, and this is MANOVA because, as I said before, we have 7 attachment locations around the brain. So, and we wanted to analyze these data at the same time, not univariately, but the multivariate approach. So overall data was divided into 5 modules: relative alpha, relative beta, relative theta, concentration, and stability. And the same model was applied to each module. SPS 26.0 was used for data analysis. I want to show preliminary findings because we are now conducting the full-scale research, but for this presentation, I want to show the preliminary finding. That means among the 5 modules, only the analysis result of fourth module, which is attention. Only attention is being presented in this presentation. Analysis results are multivariate test results within subjects and between subjects. If the within subject is significant, contrast among the repetition is also presented. And lastly, profile plots. Within subject effect is to determine the trend, the overall trend in the dependent variable according to the repeated measure, and whether there is interaction between the experimental group and the repetition. And the inter-individual effect means the difference in the dependent variable between the experimental group. So this is we call between subject effect. The results of multivariate tests summarized in Table 1. Multivariate F-test of effects between and within subject for attention. So the first one, according to the treatment, the difference between the mean vectors of all 7 variables were significant, and overall change in 8 variables according to the repetition were significant. This means there is a significant trend in the across the repeated measurement. The time-dependent change between treatment groups were not significant, so there is no interaction. There is no interaction. You see the last row in Table 1. So Table 1 consists of between subjects and within subject. Among the within subject, there is a repetition and repetition by group. So the last row indicate the interaction, but there is no evidence that repetition interacts with group. Table 2 present the univariate F-test of within subject effect for the same measure attention. So prior to within subject test, we conducted Mosley's test of sphericity, and all 7 variables did not satisfy the sphericity assumption. So we corrected the degrees of freedom using Greenhouse-Geiger and Hunefeld and lower bound method. So you see here the asterisk under the table 2. We use this. We tried the 3 different methods, but the significant flag were all the same. So we just presented correction of Greenhouse-Geiger effect, Greenhouse-Geiger method. Anyway, as a result of analysis, the change according to the repeated measurement was not significant in all measurement variables. The results of the between subject effect test are presented in table 3. Similar to the result of within subject effect test, the between subject effect was found to be insignificant in all variables. So I think you guys get a hint why the results I just presented or like that, because it seems to change across time, 1 2 3 4 across time, but the pattern looks similar. So no significant difference between 0 and 1. 0 means non-course takers. 1 means course takers. And black bold line represents grand mean across 2 groups. This is CZ P4 and T3, P3, T4. So I have shown you a sketch of this study, just a sketch. A full-scale study is currently underway, and I and co-authors, we hope to show more extensive and detailed results. Okay, this is the presentation we have prepared. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you in the future face to face and have a more detailed discussion. Thank you.